Want to say hi? Want to say hi? Want to say hi? Say hi. Don't get so big. I love you so much. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Make It Make, where I always try to encourage you. If you can't get it to make, then make it make. I'm just sitting here having some coffee. Oh my goodness, good mornings. Good mornings. And with Daphne. Oh, licked my ear. So, good morning. I'm making this video because someone had commented about how do you gain the confidence to water bath low acid foods that would normally be pressure canned. And I just thought that we'd talk about my journey with that, how it, my journey. When I first started canning, I need you to know that I knew nothing. I knew nothing about canning at all. It's not like I grew up in a family that did any type of canning at all. It was nothing. But I remember when I lived in Denver, I had one friend there, at least in that area, because it was like 35 minutes away from everybody else. And I saw her jars and then I inquired about them, and then it just sort of never left my mind. Then I got the ball book and I love that book. They still have that book in print. I will put that in the description if you're interested in that. And I obsessively read that book to learn how to can because I knew nothing. And then when I started inquiring to my friend more about it, she said, listen, you can watch me. And we did. I think we did tomatoes and we did tomatoes and beets. That's what we did. And we water bathed those, adding the lemon juice, things like that. So at that point, I wasn't even thinking about like rebel canning. All I knew was USDA standards. And that's it, that's all I knew. I didn't even know there was even another way of canning because that's just what I was reading and that's just what I was told. Also, as I was reading the ball book, let me tell you that even with having these trusted recipes, I still had a lot of fear of putting anything in a jar. So when it comes to fear for me personally, because I'm trying to use my words wisely here, for me, there is just a level of experience and confidence that you just gain in the kitchen. Because even when I made my first jelly jar, I was still scared to death to eat it. And that's with a trusted USDA approved recipe. Because here's the thing, canning is not guaranteed to not give you botulism. It's very unlikely that it would. But the USDA cannot guarantee anything. They're just putting up what their recommendations are. Because it's easier for them to say no than for them to say yes, because if they were to say yes, it would just open up the floodgates of all kinds of other questions, which is why we have that issue today. So circling back, you will always have some sort of level of fear until you gain that confidence and experience in the kitchen. Does that make sense? So I canned according to USDA standards for a very long time. I mean, you could even see that in my channel. I was still doing that in the beginning of my channel until I met Susie. And with my relationship with her, I was just buying produce. I was just buying produce from her. And eventually it became a friendship, and I sat down with her, had the 2-hour talk with her, and then came the video, water bath, everything. And I guess the reason why I gained more confidence was because, you know, I mean, this, like, it's, you want to be like, oh, we don't want to listen to people that say that, oh, our grandmothers have been doing this their whole lives and we're fine, or the Amish have been doing it their whole lives, they're fine. Like, some people they don't want to hear that. But the fact is that it's true. Pardon me as people keep texting me. And I saw what she was doing with her family. And she wasn't sloppy with it. And she gave me the best answers that she could. And I know so many people, they want like these answers of, well, science says this, science says that. And I get it. Those are valid questions, but she couldn't give me any of that. She was just like, look, this is the way we do it. You don't want to cut your timing. You always want to be clean. You want to be thorough. And I for some reason, I very much trusted that with her, because I knew her. And the first thing I did was the potatoes. I think it was the potatoes. Don't hold me to that. But even then, when we water bathed the potatoes, even then, I was scared to open up a jar and eat it. I took a potato and I was just like, and I was scared. There was this fear. So there's nothing that I could say that can initially get you over it, other than for me, I just was like, I either trust this or I don't. I either trust it or I just don't. And I go over my head the process of it. Were my glasses completely clean? You can even go a step further and sterilize things. And I trusted her recipe. Now, after first trying it, I was like, okay, this is good. And it works. For me, it was like a no-brainer. I was never going to pressure can potatoes ever again. I was always going to water bath them. That's just me. I'm talking about me and my journey and the confidence. And I guess ever since then, the other second thing that was hard for me to water bath, that normally should be pressure canned, was meat. I was very scared of that. I was very, very scared of canning meat. Pardon me, through the water bath. And I guess it's just because everything I read, it's just so fear-based. And it's not that you shouldn't have fear. It should be a cautious fear. Does that make sense? Because you don't want to take fear away completely. You want to be cautious in what you're doing. So you don't want to just like disregard safety completely, even though people are going to tell you that when you water bath low acid foods, that you are disregarding safety. I disagree with that completely, because the people who are, and the reason why is because from what I see in the world, the United States has the strictest food regulations on canning, yet everything else, they're totally okay to put in our foods. So I don't trust that. I would much rather take advice from people who have been doing it for generations. I would much rather take advice from a reliable source. I've been saying that for so long, a reliable source. People who have experience and have confidence in what they're doing. So when I water bath the meat, the same thing. I water bathed it. It looked different in a jar because it's not super, super brown, not super cooked. It's a lot more pink. The fat is a lot more white than when you take it out of a pressure canner, it's a little bit more on the yellow side, the fat. And I'd kind of look at it like, is it even cooked? I mean, it looks cooked. It's just the whole visual presentation of it just looked different in the jar. But again, it was one of those things where for me, I was like, I either trust this or I don't. And I just, you know, took a bite, and that's how I was fine with it from then on. So that's my journey in gaining the confidence to water bath low acid foods. And yeah, so, but no matter what, you're gonna have some sort of fear. So wherever you're at in your canning journey, at some point, you're just gonna have to trust the recipe, trust the process, okay? So I hope that that's helpful. I do have a video coming up where we are going to be water bathing pumpkin. So that'll be exciting. And yeah, I hope this was very helpful to you. As always, guys, take care. I love you all, and God bless.